The story of the United States is a tale woven from ambition, struggle, and the pursuit of an idea, liberty. It begins long before 1776 across an ocean, with the arrival of European settlers on the shores of a vast new land. Driven by dreams of religious freedom and economic opportunity, these early colonists carved out settlements along the Atlantic coast, establishing the 13 colonies that would become the bedrock of a nation. Life in the colonies was far from easy, with harsh conditions, conflicts with Native Americans, and the ever-present influence of the British Crown. As the colonies grew, so too did their sense of independence. The colonists, accustomed to a degree of self-governance, bristled under increasingly restrictive British policies. The Stamp Act of 1765, which imposed taxes on printed materials, sparked widespread outrage and protests, igniting the flames of dissent. The cry of "no taxation without representation" echoed throughout the colonies, signaling a growing rift with the mother country. The situation reached a boiling point in 1773 with the Boston Tea Party, a daring act of defiance in which colonists disguised as Native Americans dumped British tea into Boston Harbor to protest unfair taxes. This act of rebellion, immortalized in legend and song, pushed the colonies and Great Britain closer to the brink of war. The shot heard round the world echoed through the fields of Lexington and Concord in April 1775, marking the beginning of the American Revolutionary War. Outnumbered and outgunned, the colonists, led by General George Washington, faced a formidable foe in the mighty British Army. What began as a colonial rebellion transformed into a desperate fight for freedom, a struggle that would test the mettle of a new nation. The Declaration of Independence, penned by Thomas Jefferson and signed on July 4, 1776, stands as a testament to the ideals that fueled the revolution. This bold document declared that all men are created equal, endowed with certain unalienable rights including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It was a radical declaration, a beacon of hope for a world yearning for freedom. The Revolutionary War raged for 8 long years, a brutal and bloody conflict that tested the resolve of both sides. From the bitter winter encampment at Valley Forge to the decisive victory at Yorktown, the American forces, aided by their French allies, fought with unwavering determination. Finally, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed, officially recognizing the independence of the United States of America. The newly independent nation, though triumphant, faced the daunting task of forging a government from the ashes of revolution. The Articles of Confederation, adopted in 1777, proved too weak to effectively govern the fledgling nation. It lacked the power to tax, regulate commerce, or enforce laws, leading to chaos and disunity. Recognizing the need for a stronger national government, delegates from the states convened at the Constitutional Convention of 1787. Led by visionaries like James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and Benjamin Franklin, they crafted the United States Constitution, a document that has stood the test of time. The Constitution established a system of checks and balances, dividing power between the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, ensuring no one person or group held absolute power. To appease concerns about individual liberties, the Bill of Rights, comprising the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, was added in 1791. This landmark document guaranteed essential freedoms, including freedom of speech, religion, the press, the right to bear arms, and protection against unreasonable searches and seizures. These rights, hard-won during the Revolution, formed the cornerstone of American democracy. The 19th century witnessed the United States expand westward, driven by a belief in manifest destiny, the idea that it was their God-given right to control the land from coast to coast. This expansion, however, came at a terrible cost. As settlers pushed westward, they encroached upon the lands of Native American tribes, leading to conflict, displacement, and the forced relocation of countless indigenous peoples. The Trail of Tears, a harrowing journey undertaken by the Cherokee Nation, stands as a stark reminder of the brutal consequences of this westward expansion. Simultaneously, the issue of slavery, a festering wound on the nation's soul, continued to divide the nation. The southern states, economically dependent on slave labor, clashed with the abolitionist North, where the moral outcry against slavery grew louder. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 and the Compromise of 1850 were but temporary solutions, papering over the deep divisions that threatened to tear the nation apart. The election of Abraham Lincoln, a staunch opponent of slavery, in 1860 proved to be the breaking point. 11 southern states seceded from the Union, forming the Confederate States of America. The American Civil War, a brutal conflict that pitted brother against brother, erupted in 1861, plunging the nation into its darkest chapter. Section 5. Rebuilding and redefining Reconstruction and Industrialization. The Civil War, which raged for 4 long years, ended in 1865 with the defeat of the Confederacy. The nation, scarred and divided, faced the daunting task of rebuilding and redefining itself. The period of Reconstruction that followed brought about significant changes, including the abolition of slavery, the reunification of the country, and the extension of citizenship rights to African Americans. However, Reconstruction was a time of great turmoil and struggle. The assassination of President Lincoln in 1865 dealt a devastating blow to the nation's hopes for reconciliation. Racial tensions remained high, and the South resisted efforts to integrate former slaves into society. Despite these challenges, Reconstruction marked a turning point in American history, laying the groundwork for a more just and equitable society. The late 19th century also witnessed the rise of industrialization, transforming the United States into an economic powerhouse. The growth of railroads, factories, and cities brought about unprecedented prosperity and opportunity. However, this rapid industrialization also led to significant challenges, including labor unrest, income inequality, and environmental degradation. Section 6. Prosperity and Progress, Immigration, Innovation, and Crisis. The turn of the 20th century saw the United States emerge as a global power, fueled by industrial might and a wave of immigration. Millions of people from Europe, Asia, and Latin America flocked to American shores, seeking a better life and contributing to the nation's rich cultural tapestry. This period of rapid growth and innovation also saw significant advancements in technology, transportation, and communication, transforming the lives of everyday Americans. The Roaring Twenties, a decade of economic prosperity and cultural dynamism, witnessed the rise of jazz, flapper fashion, and a sense of boundless optimism. However, this era of prosperity came to a crashing halt with the stock market crash of 1929, plunging the nation into the Great Depression. The Great Depression was the worst economic crisis in American history, marked by widespread unemployment, poverty, and social unrest. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt's New Deal programs, implemented in response to the crisis, brought about significant government intervention in the economy, providing relief, recovery, and reform. The New Deal, though controversial, helped to alleviate the suffering of millions and fundamentally reshape the role of government in American society. Section 7. Global Powerhouse, World Wars, and the Great Depression. The specter of war loomed large over the 1930s, as fascist regimes rose to power in Europe and Asia. The bombing of Pearl Harbor in 1941 thrust the United States into World War II, a global conflict that tested the nation's resolve and forever altered the course of history. The United States, along with its allies, emerged victorious from the war, but not without tremendous sacrifice. The aftermath of World War II saw the United States emerge as a global superpower, locked in a Cold War with the Soviet Union. This ideological struggle shaped international relations for decades, leading to proxy wars, a nuclear arms race, and the constant threat of global annihilation. Section 8. A New Era, Cold War, Civil Rights and Technological Advancements. Despite the tensions of the Cold War, the post-war era was also a time of remarkable progress and social change. The Civil Rights Movement, led by courageous individuals like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, challenged racial segregation and discrimination, leading to landmark legislation that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The mid-20th century also witnessed incredible technological advancements. The space race, a competition between the United States and the Soviet Union, captured the world's imagination and led to groundbreaking achievements in space exploration, culminating in the Apollo 11 moon landing in 1969. Section 9. The 21st Century Challenges and Changes in a New Millennium. The dawn of the 21st century brought about new challenges and opportunities for the United States. The terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, shook the nation to its core, leading to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq and a renewed focus on national security. The digital revolution, which began in the late 20th century, continued to transform society, connecting people across the globe and creating new avenues for communication, commerce, and creativity. The United States faces a host of challenges in the 21st century, including climate change, economic inequality, political polarization, and social unrest. However, the nation has a remarkable capacity for resilience, innovation, and progress. The story of the United States is still being written, and its future chapters will be shaped by the choices and actions of its people.